All right, so we're gonna do another mock draft simulator. I think last time we did what, top 10? You want me to do top 10 again?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do the top 10. So I'll enter the draft. All right, so I turned up. I played with some of the settings. I don't know exactly what I did, but let's just fire away. Top pick. I mean, I think it seems obvious that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first pick. So I will just stick with Trevor Lawrence.
Do you think he's going to be the most successful quarterback in this draft?
I don't know. How do you define successful? I guess the most wins.
Well, how about
like
how
a
about
Hall
we
of
come back
Fame
to
or
this
whatever?
question later because I think sometimes sometimes it matters what team you get drafted to, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's with Urban Meyer. Obviously the Jaguars aren't a very good team as of yet, so it's hard to really say. I would say high variance. I would think that of the quarterbacks, if I were to pick a quarterback to be successful, at least initially, I think I would go with the 49ers because they're picking high. They have a pretty good offensive system that's been successful with a number of different quarterbacks, good coaching. I mean, that the team seems to be in a good spot. So I'll go with whoever ends up with the 49ers. As the most successful quarterback. No knock on anybody, but just going off of who has the best situation. You know what I mean? Like the Jets, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that number 2 is going to be Zach Wilson, but um, how can you pick a Jets quarterback to be successful? The Jets just don't seem to be able to
who was the
put
last
together
Jets successful quarterback?
that they drafted.
Ugh, I don't know about drafted. I'm just saying in general.
Oh,
I'm
in
thinking like
general,
Brett Favre,
Chad
right?
Pennington.
Oh yeah, maybe Chat. What
I
came
mean, I
first?
know he was
Was it Pennington or
what?
Favre? 'Cause I thought Favre did kind of good with the Jets, right? Oh, Sanchez, I guess. Sanchez would be probably the
Yeah, I guess
last.
Sanchez was pretty good for a little bit. He had almost Super Bowls a couple times. So yeah, I guess Mark Sanchez. So all right, so this is the spot that there's been a lot of intrigue about. So the rumor is uh, Mac Jones, and I guess just to clarify, right? Like I'm picking what I think is going to happen, not necessarily what I would do, because I don't know enough to really do a good job picking a team, anyways. This is just kind of my guess at how the top 10 is going to fall because we have some sort of we're going to do some sort of a wager on this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So personally, I like Justin Fields. I mean, I can see him going high because there's a lot of smoke screens. There's a lot of talk about Mac Jones being the pick because he fits. Um, but what if? And I think didn't you pick Trey Lance third anyway last time?
Yeah, my guess is either Trey Lance. Like if you're going all overall like prospect, what makes the most sense to me would be Trey Lance because you still have Garoppolo. But if you want a quarterback like right now, I think Justin Fields. But that would be my like because I do feel like there's a little bit of a smokescreen with Mac Jones, but he could be the guy. I have no idea. You never know until it happens. So
Yeah, I do. I buy into the Mac Jones smoke screen, so I'm going to go Justin Fields. To me, he's a really high pick. Or I'm sorry, he's really highly rated talent wise, right? But not a lot of people are talking about him. So I read that as teams aren't talking about him. And there's usually two reasons why teams aren't talking about somebody. Either they're hoping to get the guy or they're not interested. I find it hard to believe that um, the NFL as a whole isn't really interested in Justin Fields as a high pick. I
So-
see it more likely as there's a third team that's interested in Justin Fields, and they want other teams to figure out that they're going after Justin Fields. And I mean, the only team that typically tips their hand who they're going to pick is the Bengals, but I think other teams are probably a little bit more savvy. So I can see the 49ers, really leading people to believe that they're after Mac Jones just so that they can feel secure that they're going to get Justin Fields.
Or
Or
this is what I was thinking, because I was thinking about too. It's like, because they traded a lot to get that third pick, right? So it's like I think they already know who they want. I think it could be Justin Fields. Like, the more I think about it, because if you're the 49ers, right, and you have Justin Fields rated possibly better than Justin Fields rated just maybe a little bit ahead of Zach Wilson, and the Jets are going to take, the Jets are going to take him, then you're going to like do everything you can to not make him think that you're going to take Justin Fields, for the simple fact that what if they do take Justin Fields, right? So yeah. I think their whole play was to always get Justin Fields, never really show interest, just in case the Jets might take Justin Fields, because it makes sense to me. If you rate Justin Fields maybe a little bit better than Zach Wilson, and then you pretty much know the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson, you're going to trade up to 3. You're going to give everything because you're going to get your guy. But if you tip your cap too much, then they might look into your guy and they might actually take him, because now you have that interest, right? So that would make a lot of sense to me. But it could be Mac Jones. It would surprise me a lot if they actually traded all that up, because I just feel like they didn't have to trade up that high to get Mac Jones. Like, 3 is a very, that's a lot to give up. Because they could have just went to 6, because it shows the Eagles were willing to trade. They would have took all that stuff. So
or maybe wait to draft day to see if you can get them later. It just doesn't seem very savvy to pick someone. I mean, unless you're just like, this guy is clearly underrated and way better than the public thinks, right? I mean, because you're going off of like, I think that like fans like us in general were more impressed by what people do when like in terms of wins and losses in college, whereas NFL scouts are looking for physical traits and how people read things and do things, whereas we're looking at like, well, did they beat so and so? Who else was on their team? So I could see there just being a mismatch between how good fans think people are and how good the NFL thinks players are. So Falcons, looks like there's 2 trade offers in this app. Figure out how to get the pop up. But I think they're going to stay put. But I would like to see the picks or the trades. You know how to view the trades? Or maybe we have to pay for that. So I don't think that they go for a wide receiver, because they have quite a few wide receivers. I don't see the Falcons picking a tackle at 4. And I don't see them as a trade back team, because they've traded up a few times. So I think that they take an offensive player, but I think Kyle Pitts is going to go.
See, that's my biggest fear, is that they actually take Kyle Pitts. But I also hear that a lot of people are speculating Jamar Chase is our guy, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that. So again, if it were up to me, I would roll the dice and go Devontae Smith, even though it seems like the consensus is that Jamar Chase is the better prospect. I don't think the Bengals are going to take Penei Sewell, because I only read this a little bit, but I read somewhere they have short arms, so that makes it seem as though he might be projected as some people as a guard in the NFL. And I know that the Bengals typically or historically do not value guards, offensive guards. So if they see Penei Sewell as a guard, and the same issue exists for the Slater guy. I think he's also a guy who's considered to be short armed. So maybe they project him as a guard, and that's going to be my rationale for not picking the lineman. Also, there's a lot of positional depth. I guess a lot of people are saying this is a relatively strong class for uh, tackles and guards. So I see the Bengals waiting and picking up their uh, guard in the second or third round. And also, the Bengals typically do not uh, build depth in their lineup. They usually just go for starters. So they paid a guy to start at right tackle. The Bengals have a left tackle. So I don't think that they're going to draft another tackle. Um, and so for all those reasons, I think they're going to go with Jamar Chase.
Wow. I'm surprised you picked Jamar Chase, but this is based off of what you think they're going to do.
This is what I think that they're going to do. I think that's what they're going to do.
I sense that if I think the only thing that could potentially not be Chase, or it would be if Pitts is available. But yeah, I could see the Falcons taking Pitts because I mean it makes sense. That or trading down if someone's willing to give a lot for Trey Lance, which I heard Washington could be that team, but that'll be interesting.
So I think that at 6, I think that the Dolphins are going to go lineman. So I'm going to put in Penei Sewell. It just seems kind of uh, kind of a value play because they had the third pick, which they got for trading a tackle. So and then they traded down from 3, right? And then they traded back up to 6. So I think they're playing games with. They're not really playing games, but I think they're just trying to get their position that they want, but also maximize the number of draft picks that they get. So I think this is a play for a tackle. So I'm gonna go with Penei Sewell.
And they still might have a chance to get Waddle, right? Because I mean, he may not last.
They pick it. They pick again at 18. So maybe they pick a wide receiver a little bit later. I could see the wide receiver. I could see, I guess, listed as needs are defense, defensive linemen in particular. But I don't know. Um, frankly, I don't know much about the defensive interior and edge rushers in this year's draft. I know, like I saw Barmore play a little bit with Alabama, but I don't know anything about the edge guys, so I'm just going to go with what I've seen. So for Detroit, so they have this is kind of lined up for them, right? So it says they need a linebacker. Says they need wide receivers. I think clearly the value of the board lines up with their biggest need. They just lost their top wide receiver to the Giants, right? So I think that they're going to go with the top rated wide receiver. I'm going to go with Devontae Smith because,
Yeah, no, I was about to say I see that too. I think I really can see him in a Lions jersey, like regardless of what happens.
Yeah. Okay. So then the Panthers, I don't think the Panthers consider themselves as needing a quarterback now that they have Sam Darnold. So let's. So this is a spot that I could see him trading down, but I don't think we have the ability to try. Oh, here we go. Now it's working.
Yeah, before it wasn't doing anything.
Yeah, so it looks like this says that the Patriots are interested. So they're interested in the pick. So I could see, well, does Carolina want to trade down to the 15th? I don't think so. I think that what's more likely to happen, Carolina is going to either trade with the Broncos or Washington. Washington also needs a quarterback. So I think ultimately they're able to leverage this with Denver.
Oh, Denver. Okay.
So I'm just going to go Denver. This.
Fourth string.
So now Denver's moved up because they're rushing to the podium because now they see that Trey Lance has fallen. I see them picking Trey Lance. And now Carolina, now that they've extracted some value, they're going to go and pick Watt. And then just put I'm going to give JC Horn. I'm going to put him as the top corner.
I've heard that some people are really high on him.
Yeah, he tested really fast, but I mean, I just see it as like I just see Jerry Jones being swayed by the legacy factor of Joe Horn. I don't have any good support for that, but I'm going to go with it. So here's an interesting one. I think Dolphins, I can see him taking the top defensive lineman. He's, as far as I've seen, he's the one of the few interior defensive linemen rated in the first round. So this is a need. It's a value pick, so I have him going there.
Wow, Micah Parsons really fell all the way.
Slater's gone. Jets. They need a corner. I mean, Patrick Surtain, that's pretty low for him. So
steal.
can't pass up Mike Parsons. Too low for him. They're going to take him. Oh, wow. Look at this grade. A plus, A plus, A plus,
oh my God.
A minus, A plus, A plus.
Damn,
C minus.
The only thing they didn't like was just which
JC Horn,
which is still questionable because I seen quite a few that have him that high. So, but it seems like the theme though is it seems like it's going to be a very like top heavy offensive draft. Seems like the majority of the first top 10 picks are going to be offensive. Majority of the top 5 picks are going to be quarterbacks. So it's like it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, I even in this mock, I don't think that I think that more quarterbacks are going to go.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't know if it's just a site, but it seems like every time they mock for the Patriots, they seem to give them a tackle. Like they never, like to me, yeah, I don't know. I'm not even sure if if the Patriots would actually go for Mac Jones, even if he's there at 15, which he could be. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
I mean, if he gets past the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Mac Jones falling. I don't know. Depends on if you believe the hand that they're showing, or if you think that you think they're being genuine and telling everybody they want Mac Jones.
I mean, I think if they really are going for Mac Jones, I think they could be open about it because I don't ever see the Jets taking them. But I also see the scenario where the reason why they're being like this is because they really do want Justin Fields. They just don't want to change the Jets' mind because to make a trade like that, you're pretty much like, okay, they pretty much know they're going to take Zach Wilson. So if you have Justin Fields or maybe even Trey Lance rated higher than Zach Wilson, then yeah, you're going to do whatever you like. A trade like that makes a lot of sense because you're going to get your guy at 3 and you think he's actually the number 2 guy. So it's like a win-win. But if you show so much interest in him and you really believe that player's better, then you probably have potential to possibly change the Jets' mind or maybe like have him double check. There's a chance. You don't want to trade all those picks not to guarantee to get your guy. So, but yeah, it's one of those two scenarios. I feel like it's just
tackles went in the first round in this mock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So 7 offensive tackles going in the first round.
Makes sense because I just feel like the last 3 to 5 years, there's been like some premier defensive ends. Like, so it's like now it's like this is like the league trying to overcompensate.
That'd be a disaster for the Bengals if they pick Chase and say like everybody else want offensive linemen in the first round. Even though I think that they are going to draft a guard.
I think they can get a guard in the second round that might have like first round grades, or potentially wait until the third round. It really just depends on what they do with their first pick because it's like it seems like the offensive linemen, receivers, and then I forget what other position seems to be deep this year. So it's just like it's just going to be a mixture of things. But I feel like there's going to be some solid tackles / guards at the end of the first that could fall into the second round. And I could actually see us trading back in to the first round to get that lineman if they fall far enough.
Yeah.
If they do that, then if they get like a dynamic playmaker at the beginning of the draft and then they trade back in to get like a lineman that falls, that would be like a dream draft for me. I mean, that would probably never happen, but
yeah, I mean, I could see him trading back in. I don't know. I mean, it's I don't see him trading down. Well, let me rephrase that. They typically don't trade down. I mean, I know Marvin Lewis did it a few times, but that was kind of like a new thing. I think the draft falls to them nicely because so many of the top picks are projected to be quarterback, and you feel good about your quarterback. So picking 5 is a really good spot to be in because you look at those 3, right? Anybody at 4, 5, and 6, I don't think Bengals fans would complain about too much. I mean, there are lots of people that are, either pro Sewell or pro Chase. I mean, I'm more Kyle Pitts than either of them, but I would be happy with all 3. Oh, so Grandma's been watching our videos and she wanted me to give her a shout out during our next video. So
shout out to Grandma, number 1
shout
fan.
out to Grandma for
You better like this video. No, I'm just kidding.
I taught her how to use YouTube, so she's been giving me notes. She said she wanted us to put a sign saying hello to her, so I'll make one of those. All right. Well, so with that, you want to just go ahead and wrap this up?
Yeah, I think we're good to go.